Sometimes we might feel like we don't fit in. This has been experienced by everybody. And many introverts and highly sensitive people express this sentiment to me as well. I always like to ask new readers what their biggest struggle is right now in their life. And feeling like I don't fit in at work, in my family, in my social circle, wherever it might be, is a common response. Sometimes this can be a bit of a default reaction, though, which is highlighted when I follow this up by asking, about the problems that occur because they don't fit in. What does that mean for them? And often it emerges to be a bit of a mindset issue. Not fitting in isn't the problem. The problem is believing that not fitting in is a problem. It's okay not to fit in. In fact, as we've talked about through this series, it's actually kind of important. It's a key part of rebellion, and it's attractive and even enviable. Fitting in with the outside world comes at a big price. Acclimating with the crowd, with saying and doing what you should say and do in order to be part of the crowd, means you're saying no to what you would choose to say or do if it were up to you. When people embrace the joy of getting out of what others believe they should fit into, they experience a great sense of freedom. This is hopefully what you've begun to see throughout this series, that gentle rebellion is about embracing the joy of standing on the outside. It's about rejecting the tyranny of desire for power. The desire when it drives us to pursue things we believe will fill some longing to be complete, to be whole, to be happy, to be normal, and so on. And last time we got really practical, turning our have, do, and be desires on their head so that we start from our core values and assess all the things that we think we want to do and the things that we want to have from the place of our values, so that we can actually start to turn our lives into things that reflect who we really are and not who we think we're supposed to be. Have you ever done something you really didn't want to do because you wanted to fit in and you didn't want to stand out? Was that thing below the standards and expectations that you would ideally set for yourself? Did it go counter to your kind of core inner values? Cameron Bancroft got banned from cricket for 9 months. He cheated in a cricket match between Australia and South Africa when he roughed up the ball with sandpaper on the pitch in plain view of the TV camera. I mean, it's quite difficult not to be in plain view of TV cameras nowadays, but he did it on camera. You could see him doing it. And he said he did it because one of the other players, David Warner, had told him to. And Bancroft, when he was talking about this, admitted that he didn't know any better. And it was apparently a decision based around his values, which, he said at the time, were fitting in. He added that one of his motivations was the hope that fitting in earns you respect. When I heard him talking about this, I was kind of taken aback, because this is a really strange and naive assessment to make. Associating respect with doing something because you want to fit in. So doing something that you would think better of doing in order to fit in. Respect is not earned by submitting to another person's will at the expense of your values. If you know something is wrong, you won't get respect by doing it. Acting because you want to fit in and be liked makes you potentially very vulnerable indeed. You become a stooge. You become a scapegoat for people who want to take advantage of you. You're not going to be liked and respected because of it. Respect and fitting in are often mutually exclusive. You don't earn respect by trying to fit in. You earn it by living true to that deeper sense, that deeper set of values and principles. Because that is the path to integrity. Even if that means standing up to those you would like to be respected by. This is the heart of rebellion. Shining a light on something within you that sits counter to the kind of path of least resistance, which would take you towards what you think is going to help you belong. But by seeking that fitting in and believing that that's going to lead you to belonging, that's actually just going to create that chasm within you. It's going to tear you away from yourself. Respect builds over time, and it's the result of a series of actions, doing the right thing, not the easy thing, over and over. Someone who uses you to satisfy their own agenda clearly doesn't respect you. On the contrary, they respect you so little that they're happy to use you for their own dirty work. We can probably all think of people who have earned respect by speaking difficult truths into situations which they feel they cannot support. Things that have tipped over to this point where it's like, I can't tolerate this any longer. I need to speak into this. I don't care about the repercussions. I need to make a stand for what is right here. Fitting in and being liked are not core values. They're not your core values. They're a byproduct of living true to your values. Integrity is wholeness between our values and our actions. It's a sense that our actions, what we do, aligns with what we value. And if we want to be people of integrity and character and wholeness, then we need to come to terms with the prospect that we won't fit in. And actually, we need to embrace the joy, actively embrace the joy of not fitting in, of standing up for those things that we truly value. Introverts and highly sensitive people can sometimes feel like we don't fit neatly into certain aspects of our noisy world. It may feel like we don't belong, or it might feel like there's something wrong with us within a moment where you need to step away from people and noise in order to recharge the batteries, and other people they don't need that. You might feel like, I don't fit into this environment. There are times where we may feel uncomfortable with these parts of our temperaments. We might try to squeeze ourselves into the outer model in an attempt to fit in. And in so doing, bend ourselves completely out of shape. And so we fit into this way of appearing, but at the expense of fitting in to our own shape, our own model, our own needs. We might ask questions like, how can I be more extroverted? Or how can I get people to like me? How can I be more socially outgoing? Whatever the issue might be for you. And by concentrating on trying to fit in, we miss a much more fundamentally important point. A point which Cameron Bancroft seemingly failed to understand. That fitting in is not a value. You can't earn respect by simply doing what someone else wants you to do. Fitting in starts with yourself. Should we say belonging starts within yourself? It begins with integrity, with understanding your own natural shape, fitting into your own deeper core, and creating this complete circle between values, words, and actions. Fit into who you are by understanding what truly matters to you and assessing the choices that you make based on those things, on those values. The more connected you are to that, the stronger you become. And through that inner strength, you realize that fitting in matters far less than you originally thought. And you're free to be you. You're free to become even more of you over time. And as that outer shell, which is the desire to fit in, as that breaks and crumbles and you live more in alignment with yourself, in integrity, aligned to your values, you're aligning your values and your actions and your words, people will respect you a lot more. Why? Because you're doing something that people really value, or you're doing something that people are incapable of unapologetically. Why? Because you're doing something that people really value, or you're doing something that people are incapable of, unapologetically standing up for what is right. Ask yourself, what matters to me in other people? What do I value in people that I respect? Honesty, competitiveness, aggression, gentleness, wisdom, warmth, fear-mongering, lying, cheating. These are kind of values. Which characteristics are you drawn towards? Which characteristics are you repelled by? Rather than asking, what do I want to do? Or what do I want to have? Ask, first and foremost, who do I want to be? Ask, how do I want to behave? How do I want to respond? After that last part, the previous episode, you should already be gaining a clearer sense of these values already. And in the final part, we're going to look at the idea of gentle rebellion and community, the idea of fitting in, of not fitting in, and embracing the joy of not fitting in within the context of other people and community. So stick around and check that out soon.